My name is JD Capilouto. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a junior in the College of Communication at Boston University, and I'm the editor-in-chief of the Daily Free Press. I guess I knew coming in I wanted to work my way up and just, I guess, be as involved in student journalism as I possibly could. This would obviously be the best way, leading a newspaper. Also, when I was working at some of the lower positions, I saw ways that I thought the Free could be better, but I didn't have the power to change them because I wasn't at that position yet. This kind of gives me the power to kind of dip my toes into every section and experiment there. So Libby Signal? No, they're just watching Signal. I have to make one newspaper.
Yeah, you do, because she
That
has
would
to
be great,
upload
yes.
stuff into
How
the media.
about
But she doesn't have
we'll
the
come to
account.
producer tomorrow, and then we can have a set of questions for you early tomorrow morning, probably.
This semester, it's been really wonderful. I think everyone really works well together. We all really respect each other. It's almost like a little family because we spend every night together, Sunday through Thursday from 5:30 on. So it's a really welcoming environment. It's also really open. So if there's ever any disagreements or like conversations, it's always really open. But most of all, above all, we're all friends.
I think I learned a lot of valuable lessons about leadership and how to lead a group of people who all have different skills and their own leadership qualities, and how to kind of work with everyone's the best to create the best possible output. I think I also learned a lot about how student journalism can impact a campus, especially with our coverage of the election and on campus, and what people were thinking about that, as well as there were some smaller things that we did have an impact on how the campus ran. And so I learned a lot about the power of student journalism in this role.
Stand off, take off is one word. Send off is hyphenated.
This is hyphenated, not listed there.
Oh, hold on. Actually, I don't have it. According to an editor response.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My favorite thing I've ever written for the Freep was actually a story I wrote for the features section when I was the features editor last semester. And I got to interview people from Greece live. That was on Fox. So that was awesome, and it's very up my alley. So I got to interview 3 of the guys who played the T-Birds, and then I basically turned the story around like the next night, but it was awesome.
So this week is changeover week at the Daily Free Press, and that's basically it's training week. So a few weeks ago we selected new editors to fill our spots, both on the editorial board as well as the lower associate editor positions. And so this week is kind of training week, where the first few days are shadowing, where we're kind of working together with our predecessor and our successor to make sure everyone knows what to do. And then tonight is when the outgoing editorial board kind of sits back and lets the incoming editorial board do everything themselves and actually make the print paper tonight. So that's what's happening tonight. And then tomorrow the outgoing e-board isn't even here, and it's just the incoming e-board. And then next week it goes all back to normal, and I'm back as editor-in-chief. So, and then we kind of round out the semester like that.
I've almost like interview stuff. Oh, yeah. Okay, my headphones.
Yeah, I'm just.
Honestly, I think we should do
That's fine, sure.
repeating
Like what?
Well, I don't think print journalism is dying. I think that's a really common misconception. I do think that people still read newspapers, people still pick up magazines. It is easier to pick up or to go online and like search for news articles and stuff, but I don't think it's dying. I think there's still a need for it.
I think the future of print journalism is kind of establishing itself as the, at this point, it's the standard for journalistic integrity. We saw a lot of mess-ups in this most recent election cycle, for example, from online-only publications that were just doing stuff for clicks, and from TV outlets who were just publishing stories because of a shock factor and because of they had to fill the 24-hour news cycle gaps. But I think this election cycle specifically, and moving forward, print journalism kind of showed itself as the guardian of good journalism. If you think of some of the biggest stories that were broken for the campaigns on either side, it came from print journalism. It came from the New York Times, Washington Post, Boston Globe. They were the ones who had those stories and that people knew they could trust moving forward in the election, and I think that is going to influence how people look at it moving forward.